today, thanks to shows like Dancing with the Stars, ballroom is back. And so is Tatiana Keegan, a once-retired ballroom champion who's re-entering the world of competitive dance. We caught up with Tatiana for her story of passion, determination, and drive.
I cannot live without ballroom dancing. For me, my life equals ballroom dancing. Even though other things happen like a family and a child and husband, but ballroom dancing cannot be secondary. It still equals my family. So it's as important as, I don't know, like air for you to breathe.
Tatiana Keegan lives ballroom dancing. This 12-time international Latin champion has performed in countless competitions. Her drive to compete began in Russia, where she was introduced to the art at an early age.
I was always attracted to dancing, and when I was a little girl, about 6, 7 years old, I was doing some Russian folk dancing, but then I became a very serious gymnast, so I had to stop doing that. But then at the age 14, in the school we had some party, and it's called Waltz, Waltz, Waltz. And there was one ballroom couple, they came and started doing waltz. And when I saw them dancing, I fell in love with the guy who was dancing. But I think I fell in love with the ballroom dancing, but at that time I didn't know. And I was so mesmerized.
While love of dance is a good start, it took Tatiana years of rigorous training and competition to achieve the flowing lines and seamless execution apparent at the top levels.
Ballroom dance is all about competitions. You know, if you just a dancer and you do socially, that's not enough. If you want to be a really good dancer, you have to compete. But I always felt like I'm too restricted in the ballroom style because I do this waltz and I feel like I want to do more and I cannot. I constantly have to be with my partner. At some point I decided I don't want to do standard. I want to do Latin way. I can just, you know, throw myself off there and then rip my clothes off. And I feel so good about myself, you know, and I can do 100 turns in a second and it feels great. I would do probably about, well, at least 12 competitions, like every month, sometimes even more. Sometimes the competition can go every weekend.
These two start out with one of their strongest dances, the cha-cha.
I like the speed this couple has. Very crisp movement.
What do you get from winning those competitions? You get some money, but about that much. It's not that much. It doesn't cover all the expenses you really spend before you go into competition. But you just love it. You do it because you're so passionate about it and you love it so much and you just cannot live without that. If you do get first place at the competitions, it's about $1,200 or $1,000 for two of you. So it's $500, you get $500. But what you spend is a huge difference. For example, preparing for the competition, you have to take coach lessons. It's $150 for 45 minutes. So this is one cost. Then, of course, if we go to compete in England, for example, we have to pay airfare, then for hotel, then the cost of ball gowns, I mean, for dresses. They cost about, it's between $2,000 to $3,000 each dress. Well, because they have a lot of rhinestones. Because you want to have as many rhinestones as you can so you shine. You see how many stones it has? You see how close they are in the whole dress? So this is Swarovski stones, and they're very, very expensive. And you don't want to have only one dress. You usually try to have at least two dresses, just in case, what if that breaks? Or you want to change sometimes in rounds. So it can be about $10,000. When you go to compete, it's $10,000 and you get only $500. So you see the difference? So you don't do just for this $500.
But all the training, traveling, and competing eventually began to take a toll on Tatiana.
Well, I used to get up around 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning and go running, maybe a couple miles, 2-3 miles. Then it was in the park, someplace. I would just sit down and meditate, and then I would do some yoga poses, and then go practice. Practice usually between 2-3 hours. And then after this, have a lunch, and then I would teach about 6 hours. And then come home, and then every day is the same. So very intense, actually. It stopped at some point because I think I burned out, and I felt like there has to be something else happening in my life. I felt that was good, but it wasn't fulfilling. Like I said, ballroom dancing is just like air for me, but I felt like I was choking. There was something else is missing.
That missing element came along in the form of her husband, Paul Keegan, and their daughter, Anastasia. But eventually, the pull of competition coaxed her back, prompted in part by a chance meeting with Austrian dancer Werner when he came into her dance studio to apply for a job.
So he walked in dance sport, and my owner met him, and he said right away, well, we have to see how you dance. So we're going to dance, and the first dance we do Rumba because it's a slow dance, it's easier for him. And I have no idea what he's gonna do, so you have to follow, and he leads. And as soon as he started dancing with me, and everybody's watching behind the glass in the studio, and as soon as he started dancing with me, I turned around and I'm like, oh my God, the guy is awesome. You have to hire this guy.
With all the pieces falling into place, Tatiana was ready to give competition another try. But first, she had to find a way to incorporate dance training back into her life.
The training, yes, it is different. I don't run in the mornings anymore. My running is here, around the apartment with my daughter. Yeah, I get up around 8 o'clock, 7:30, depends. And I take care of my princess. I have to feed her, I have to clean her, dress up. And then by 12 o'clock, I drop her off in the daycare, and then I jump on the train and I go to the studio. And so from 1 to about 3:15, 3:30, we practice. And then after that, we teach. We teach till about 9:30. So then I come home, have a dinner, and go to bed about 12, 1 o'clock. So it's a long day.
From Austria, couple 1, 2, 4, Werner and Tatiana.
In their first competition as a couple, Werner and Tatiana placed 5th, a great start for this new partnership.
My partner and I, we do have goals. Well, first of all, the major goal is to be better what we were before, just to get the best out of us both. That's why we're working so hard. And of course, just dance the best, because we have both loved it so much and we did miss it. I didn't compete for 6 years, he didn't compete for 5 years. So all these years, we realized, oh my God, we love it so much. So now we have so much passion and love of it, and we just want to go and just bang it.
Since we met, Tatiana has a new partner, Nikolai Shpakov. Best of luck to them.